Okay, preparing a live stream. Let me see. I can set all these up. I always got to set up this screen so I can see both screens. Okay. Okay, here we go. Great. All right, everybody. I'm guessing they can hear us now because it always seems to record before I know we're recording. So, I'm like, oh, they recorded that part? Okay. But hello, everyone who is tuning in or who will be tuning in. I know people watch this after the live recording. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out to really hear the stories and be a part of Momversations. I am, and hold on, let me still get this set up. Okay, there we go. Great. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Hi, my name is Aretha Scruggs, and if it's your first time, you are tuning into Momversations. And you might ask, what the heck is Momversations? Momversations is basically just a show where we hear real life stories of incredible moms making an impact on our world, from women in entertainment to women in entrepreneurial ventures. We just welcome everybody to the conversation, and we just want to know how do these moms live and thrive in motherhood and in purpose. So today's guest today, this is Nicole Theresa from West Virginia, huh?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Nicole has been singing with her family, grew up singing with her family in church, and is a recording artist, songwriter, and so many other things. She has, but for the last year, she can tell you a little bit more. But for the last year, she has been on the road with Kanye West and the Sunday Collective. I saw it was so fun to watch her post these different pictures of her little belly growing. And I saw her, I got a chance to see them at the forum, and I saw her little puff, sometimes her little puff or her little belly as she's as she's going around in the group. You can't miss her. But it was so wonderful to see those two worlds coming together. She's becoming a brand new mom because now her daughter, what is her name?
Layla.
Layla is 3 months.
She's 3 months.
She's 3 months old. So it's been very fun to watch Nicole do her whole baby. When they first announced they were having a baby, to see the baby growing, and now to see all the beautiful pictures that she posts on social media. It's been so beautiful to see her little family grow. So here we are. We brought Nicole on to really just have a conversation about life, what she's been doing, how she's doing now as she's a very, very brand new mommy. I remember those stages. Whoa, whoa. For those moms who know, that's the thick of mommy. That's the thick of mommy, where the days are long.
Lord.
The days are long, you don't think they'll ever end. But
and in quarantine.
So and in quarantine, that's a whole nother
2.0.
Yeah, that's a whole nother mothering. So we are here to hear her story and to really see what she is up to and what she's been up to. So we'll start off with the first question. Nicole Theresa, tell us, who are you? Where did you grow up? When did you fall in love with music? How did you get started in music?
So who am I? Well, my name was Nicole Theresa. It's pronounced Theresa. This is weird, but I don't correct people.
Okay, Theresa.
Cool. So it's random. But yeah, so well, my government last name is Shelton. But yeah, that's my name. I'm 26. I'm a new mom, as Aretha said. Who am I? I'm a Christian. I am a singer, songwriter. I am actually fairly new into professional music. I'm a whole lot of stuff. Those are just a few things about me. But yeah, what was the follow-up?
Start. How'd you get you? You told me that you were a part of, was it a family band? What was that like?
Yes.
How was music in your house growing up?
So I have a ginormous family. My family is very, very, very large. So like my family reunion, anywhere between 150 to 200 people show up. So very big.
That's big.
Really. So yeah, but most of the people in my family do something musically. Either they sing or they play an instrument, and they do so well. So I grew up um, singing in church with my mom and my cousins and my aunts and uncles, and my family. Well, every reunion is a tradition. Somebody got to sing. Um, there's different family groups. I have some family in Detroit that are doing music. I have younger family, like my mom's generation, that had groups, and I always aspired to be in their group. My family last name is Davis, and so they had a group called the Davis Connection. And my goal in life was just to be a part of the Davis Connection. So,
Wow.
and there was a high school back in my hometown that had this very prominent show choir, and my whole dream was to go there because all of my family members, my dad, my aunts, my mom, cousins, went through this same teacher that taught this choir, and so it was just expected of my family to be in that choir. So I fell in love with music. For I've been in love with music for as long as I can remember. I didn't really talk much as a child, but I remember singing. So like if you wanted to hear me, you would hear me sing before you heard me talk. So yeah, since I was a small child, I remember singing like as early as like 3. So yeah, just very young.
I love it. And I know your husband even is in music. Is that correct?
He is. He plays the bass, and he's also in a band. I had no intentions of marrying a musician, even
Right.
though I'm a singer. But it ended up being that way, and it's really cool to to see how he is on his own path doing music, and I'm on mine. People always like, "Oh, I'm sure your house is so musical." We rarely do anything together. If it's not at church, I'm doing my own stuff, he doing his, and we encourage each other along the way, but we don't really do stuff together. We're kind of just doing what we do and supporting each other along the way, but we don't really do stuff together, which I know is weird. But yeah, he's also a musician.
Wow. And y'all met in church? Is that what it was?
We sure did.
We
Listen,
should.
it's a whole story, but in short, I went home. He's from the same state I am, so we're both from West Virginia, and I
Wow.
hadn't been
Met in
right
LA
crazy.
or Pasadena?
Child, it's a whole thing. Like we shouldn't be together considering how we met. It don't make no sense. Um, but yeah, I was visiting home after not visiting for almost like 10 or so years.
Wow.
And I was visiting a family friend who at the time was a pastor of this church. And he called me out and was like, "You got to come sing something." So my now husband was the bass player there and introduced himself to me afterwards. And I was like, I wasn't trying to hear it. I really wasn't. But he followed up with me on social media and just kept being nice. And then eventually I was like, I guess.
I
So
guess.
now we married and got a kid. So it worked out.
Yes, yes. Oh, are you the family who would like to continue the legacy and raise up your daughter that way in music? Or you like, I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes. I'm already singing to her. She only 3 months old. I'm like, okay, this is your note. You gotta
This
sing
go
soprano.
note.
This your note. So yes, I'm definitely that way just because it was such a point of connection for my family. And
Mm,
I just love those moments. Some of my warmest memories with my family involve music. And same with my husband. He just talks about like times where he was able to have cool musical moments with whether friends or family. And also, that's part of how he and I met. So,
right.
um, yeah, I just would love for our kids, even if they're not musical, like don't end up pursuing it. I don't want them to like not know about it. I want to still
Right.
teach them stuff, and then let them choose if they want to, be an engineer or architect or something else that ain't musical. They can go ahead.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're kind of talking about it, but tell us about your family. What did it mean? What were your parents like? What was it like growing up in your family? And what does it mean for you now to be a mom?
Ooh, so family has looked different over the years. Being from West Virginia, and then at a young age, I was in fifth grade when we moved out here. So I came from a really big family, and we were really tight knit. And then coming out to California with little to no family, basically, the dynamic changed a lot. So yeah, I really saw family in a different light growing up because as a child, it looked one way, and then coming out here, it looked a different way. Um, yeah, and I'm the older one. I'm the oldest, so I had to like help my siblings come along with, this is what family is. And, they didn't grow up the same way I did with all the cousins and stuff. So, yeah, family has looked different. I Initially I had a single mom, and then she wasn't single, and so that was different, and so it was just a lot of changes for me growing up. And then being a mom now, it's very eye-opening. You just look at you see certain things as a child, and then you become a parent, and you're like, man, it just makes you rethink a whole bunch of things, either that you experienced or that you wish you had experienced. And so yeah, I'm only 3 months in, but I've had so much, you know, self process going on, self assessment going on in these past few months. That yeah, I'm inspired to strive to be better, but I'm also, very humbled at the responsibility. So it definitely makes me give grace to a whole lot of people in my life, but also, helps me inspire me to be better just thinking about my family.
Yes. What does that inspiration look like? Talk to me a little more. What inspires you with being a
Ooh.
mother?
You know, a lot of what just I a lot of people talk about it like, I just see her or my child, and I just didn't know I could love like this or whatever. But like it's crazy just looking at her. I was watching something last night, completely unrelated, and then I just looked at her and like almost started crying. And it just looking at her, I was like, man, she's just so impressionable right now. She's, this little baby, and I'm helping shape her world. And I just pray that I can do so well. And I want her to grow up to be a whole individual, and I want to help her get there. So like just my inspiration has changed throughout the years as I've changed. When I was younger, I'm still young, but when I was younger, it looked one way. But now that I'm married and have a kid, and I'm doing different things that I never thought I would do, it's different. I have different responsibilities, and I'm still growing as a person as well. So my inspiration comes from the people that I love, but also who I personally am trying to strive to be and where I want to see myself. So yeah, I guess you could say I'm inspired by um, my own passion, but also a part of my passion is my family. So yeah.
Yes. Speaking of responsibility, we gonna jump right through it. What did that look like? This is the question I ask all moms. And I love that I'm talking to a new mom,
Fresh.
who's a fresh kind of young singer, even in the industry, because
Mhm.
you're learning, you're figuring things out, you're in that field at the same time as doing the same with mothering. So it's fun to
Yeah.
talk to you. It's fun to hear how you're enjoying and just kind of in the heat of both of those things as you're questioning them. So
Mhm.
very cool to ask to hear your story. But what was that like to? I always ask everyone, what has balancing motherhood and the entertainment industry look like for you? And because you're so new and fresh in it, what was it like balancing all the hormones and
Woo.
puffy feet and the nose
Oh.
growing and the hair and all the stuff? What was that like being on tour? Because I know quite a
Woo.
few of you all in the choir and just hearing everybody's different experiences in it. What was that like to be pregnant in the
Whew.
midst of it with all that energy you got to have?
Boy, oh boy, it was.
you
Whew.
how long were you in it? I mean, before the quarantine, were you touring all of last year with them, or when did you jump in?
I jumped in actually. This week I will have been in the choir for a year.
Wow.
and my daughter's 3 months. So you do the math. I was
So
I was pregnant the whole time I've been in the choir.
Wow.
And I auditioned, got pregnant, and then like officially joined. So it was all at the same time. But oh yeah. So I started, and like my first 2 weeks we were still secluded.
Mhm.
And then we started doing church pop-ups, and then slowly but surely, well, not even slowly, quickly, we started traveling and doing more church pop-ups, and then that turned into the forum, and that turned into an album, and that turned into international travel.
Have you seen this?
So so you good. Listen, I had to have my husband take mine out. But so yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. It's definitely something that I didn't know that it would look like that. Because initially it looked one way. We were very secluded. It was just definitely a smaller commitment than it has become. Yeah, I learned so much about myself in that time, because honestly, I really thought that I would always have to choose between a family and music, which is why I'm so new to the industry, because I was like, I'm gonna just wait. I'm still young. I'm gonna do stuff and get settled. And then once I figure myself out, then I'll go do music. I always said I wanted to do music because I wanted to, not because I had to.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I always thought I had to choose. But then joining the choir, and then becoming a mom in the midst of all of that, and seeing so many moms in the choir really inspired me. I was just like, man, they could do this with their kids.
Right.
I could do this. Granted, they weren't pregnant, but
were you the only pregnant mom? You were the only.
I was the only pregnant one. I was holding it down for the pregnant people. But now more are pregnant, so we out here. But I mean, I ain't pregnant no more. But
we out here.
But yeah, it was crazy because it was definitely strenuous. Travel was hard.
Yeah.
Dancing was hard. Long rehearsals was hard.
Yes.
Standing for 2-hour shows is hard.
Yes.
Like, it was a lot. Like one time in particular, we were in Miami, and we were doing an opera, and those opera rehearsals were like easily 10 hours, like a day. And then we flew to Miami, did an opera, had to leave straight from the opera. We did it on the ocean, and they had to leave from there in silver paint, wash off in the hotel in 10 minutes, and then go straight to the church, like literally, and then do 2 hours there.
Ooh.
It was a lot. So stuff looked like that normally though. And as a pregnant person, it was a whole lot. So there were times I had to learn how to pace myself. I had to learn how to accept help. And thankfully there was a whole crew of people looking out for me. The choir is full of amazing people. So it was very hard, but they looked out for me, and I learned how to balance and know my limits and when to sit down and all that stuff. So
what did that look like? I mean, as a new mom, and then even pregnant, you're right. It was humbling to have to not only ask for help sometimes, but actually receive help. Because I'd be like, no, I got it. Let me figure out how I'm gonna get out of this.
Right.
But what did that help look like? There were actual people. Was the choir? Was there like the director specifically was like somebody get Nicole, or were there times where they let you sit down, or what did that look like?
It was a combination. So there were times when like we would fly, and they was like, you going straight to the front. So stuff like that. People would carry my bags. When we had long rehearsals and they got food for us, they was like, all right, baby, they call me baby mama. They was like, baby mama eating first, or you need me to get you a plate. Look, they were very accommodating. It was me that wouldn't say nothing. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll stand here. Right. And like, even the director, he checked on me at one point. He's like, all right, so when are you stopping?
Oh, that sounds good. Did they ever ask you to stop? So they just let you?
They left it up to me. They did ask me how I felt, and they checked in, like, are you sure? Can you because we don't want you to have to stop. We much rather you choose to stop before you have to.
Right.
And I was like, I figured I would stop at a certain point, but I was just able to continue. So I was like, oh, all right, baby's good. I'm good. We can keep it pushing. So yeah, that's how that ended up. I literally ended up stopping my 9th month. I was 9 months when I stopped.
And you stopped. You chose to stop yourself.
I chose to stop because I was
months.
9 whole months.
I know. What was I? I think I did my last concert. I was out at 8.5, 9 months. I said, I can barely breathe.
If we didn't dance so much and have to stand for 2 hours, I probably would have been able to keep going. But we do a whole lot of moving. And it was, them round ligament pains and this child kicking. It was a lot.
What about costumes? Do they constantly change your costume?
No, thankfully, that was another saving grace. Our clothes are always big. So a lot of stuff, you couldn't even tell I was pregnant. A lot of people couldn't tell if I was in my clothes that I was pregnant. They was only able to tell after we took our stuff off and then I was in regular clothes. But yeah, we typically wear like poncho looking stuff. So you couldn't tell.
Wow. And so how is it being mom? What does quarantining look like for you right now?
Ooh, Lord. It's a lot. Like it's a lot. I anticipated postpartum period being challenging. I did not at all calculate a world pandemic, a global pandemic in my in my postpartum. Because right when I had Layla, it was around the time that they were talking about closing stuff down, but hadn't. And literally a week later at the same hospital, I ended up actually being induced. And I'm grateful that I was, because at the same hospital, a few days, I don't even think it was a week later, someone had come in with COVID and passed away. And so right at that time, that's when they put the restrictions on people being there, how you were giving birth and all that stuff. So I'm grateful that it was right before all that. But it's been hard not being able to rely on community in the same way, not being able to have the breaks. Like I'm just go out to eat with my friends or go see a movie. It's just 24/7, the same cycle.
That's right.
So
that's right. 3 months. We've been in this 3 months almost. You had it right at the beginning of all of this. Oh.
And I tell people I was quarantined before quarantine because I was so pregnant. I didn't feel like going nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
So I've been in the house for a cool minute.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to move on to the second half of mothering, now talking about and asking, what do you think? I mean, I know you're young and you're still figuring out life and figuring out mothering. What does it look like? What does your purpose look like as that's unfolding, as that's budding? What is your why or your purpose that you're operating out of now, and how does that line up with the type of mother you want to be?
Yeah, I love that question because it's something that I often think about. I used to think my purpose was one thing, very, very limited and within these specific lines. But as I've experienced different things, especially being in the choir, that's something like what we do is something that I never saw myself doing. I actually tell people I ended up in the choir by accident. That's a whole nother story. But just seeing how God has opened my eyes in so many ways to different avenues for what I want to do has been amazing. So it's definitely taught me to widen this whole, vein that I thought my purpose would fit in. Just in life, I've seen how God has used me to help bring awareness to the importance of wholeness in myself and others. And so I see that playing out in my motherhood by really trying to see, I'm thinking of how I want to raise my daughter and kids after, if I have any more, and how what I've experienced shapes how I view her and how I think about raising her. Do I want it to be this, she's the best, this, that, the other, or do I approach it in a way that's just like, I want her to know that she's loved, cared for, and all these different things that really, really matter at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm learning as I experience more things and as God opens my eyes to different things, just the importance of wholeness and help point others people to Him, and being their best selves in Him. Um, that's my goal as a mother. I want my child to be her best self and know that she has God and know that she has her family. Um, yeah, so that in short, that's basically how I feel about that.
What was it? If we can talk about what was the limiting and how did, I know a lot of people don't understand what it is, the whole touring life. The whole touring life is one thing in itself. But then the fact that you all work with such a prominent artist as Kanye West, but then we're singing gospel music in these spaces. You were literally declaring Jesus in these spaces, but in sort of an entertainment space. How, so what did it look like? What was the limiting purpose, and then how did it expand even in what you guys were doing?
Yes. So for me, the limit was, I'm gonna sing and write and just do that, and that's gonna be my thing. I'm just sing and write gospel and Christian, and just that's gonna be me. And not that I still don't do those things or want to do those things, but what that looks like and the people that I reach has people that I aspire to reach has broadened. Um, because working with somebody like Kanye West, I had no clue what it would be like coming into it.
Right.
Because when I joined, it was before stuff started, going more viral with the choir. So it was still a whole bunch of uncertainty about what it really was.
Right.
And so when I joined, hearing Kanye's heart, hearing him pray and seeing him lift his hands and hearing the songs and experiencing the people that I sing with, I was just like, wow, this is really, I feel like this is really part of a calling. Like this is a mission. Like, I mean, he said in his song, it's a mission, not a show. But I experienced that before that song even came out. And so when he says that, like, I can attest to that. It's really not a show. It's really a mission. I mean, there are show aspects of it, as there are to any show.
Yeah.
But it's really, really mission driven. And so seeing the people that we've been able to minister to, the people who came initially to just see what the buzz was about, but then seeing those people lift their hands, or some people post that, I wasn't a Christian, but experiencing this, I'm open to hearing what God is about, or just those different things that or going to the prisons. We went to the prisons, and those experiences were just life changing. I've been able to. I tell people I've been able to do. I feel like I've been able to do more ministry with Kanye than I ever have in my whole life in the church, which is very, controversial for a lot of people. But it's real. Like the people we've been able to reach, the just the lives we've been able to touch through what we do every week has been so amazing. So it's definitely broadened my whole, this vein and this audience, to, you never know who God's gonna put you in front of and what you're gonna do or how you're gonna touch them. And so that's how that specifically has changed my perspective.
Yeah. What was that? Give me a little bit more of how the experience was going through the prisons. I know I saw some of the videos, but how was that like, especially with what's going on with Black Lives Matters and all the stuff that's happening with our community?
Yeah, it was, wow. It was just so, it's hard to put into words, honestly. I know people say that about a lot of things, but something like that, it was something that you felt more than you could explain. Just seeing so many men and women. We went to a men's prison, then we went to a women's prison. Just seeing them, you could see the brokenness in their eyes, and at the same time the joy in their hearts to be able to experience something like this. Yeah, just being in such a place that you never thought you'd be in. Like, who thinks that they just gonna be singing in jail like that? but just to see them and hear them sing and be able to pray with them and see their tears and and know some of their stories, like some of the officers were telling us where some of those people had come from,
Mm,
and it was just so powerful.
mm.
And I don't think that in any other space I would have been able to do something like that.
Wow.
So just experiencing random, not random, but like it's seemingly random. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, just hearing them sing, you could hear the passion in their voices and seeing them smile at us, and they wanted to hug us, they couldn't, of course there were boundaries that they had to abide by, but just, man, you kind of wanted to just be like, here, give me a hug. But yeah, it was so powerful. There was not a dry eye. I can say that
Wow.
there was not a dry eye.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
We've heard something about your experiences and what you experienced just shortly in the industry and even as a mom. How has been, can you talk a little bit about the process? What has been the process of finding you? And I know you're still in that process. Is there a way that you practice showing up as yourself in every room or every day? What does that look like?
Yeah, it looks different now. You know, COVID-19 is out here throwing a wrench in everybody's plans. Um, because my mom had 6 children. And so I come from a huge family, and so a lot of my relatives have a lot of children. So I've seen how having children does impact how you operate in the world. And so I mentally tried to prepare myself at least for what that looked like. And I always said, I don't want to lose myself in being a wife or a mother. I know myself will change in those identities, but at the same time, I don't want to lose who I am. And so little things that I try to do are journal, just try to keep up with what's going on with me. How am I changing? How do I process this hard season, of motherhood and isolation? And yeah, so I just try to excuse me, and also being honest with people around me in my circle. If they ask me how I'm doing, I try to answer that question honestly. Like, I'm struggling right now, because I don't want to just keep saying I'm okay, and then the days keep going, and then I realize I'm not, and then yeah. So I just try to keep tabs on what's going on with me, and having conversations with people that I know care and can help walk me through what's going on, whatever's going on, and then try to take out little moments to take a bath, just while my kid and my husband sleep. I'm gonna do this for me, and yeah. So I try to just keep up with what's going on with Nicole.
Awesome. Awesome. What has what is your role? How can you talk about your role as a woman and a mother in this industry? How do you live into this environment, sort of going right? How do you live in this environment where sometimes, as you're talking about, sometimes your role as a mom pushes you one way, the entertainment industry wants to push you another way, and I know you're still kind of new in it, but even what did that look like as you were touring and traveling?
Yeah. So there were different times I had to make a choice. Um, so and even at times where I wasn't traveling with the choir, I was traveling to sing and lead worship. So even before I was doing that, I was doing the worship part. So I did still have to choose, because I had to choose my health, or me and my husband got something going on, or I just, yeah, there were just different moments where I had to make a choice, but I ultimately told myself that I'm choosing me. I'm not letting this obligation, it's not even obligation, but things in the industry um, uh, stop me from making good choices for myself, because I know that it's hard because, you know, once you get a good gig, you're like, all right, I got to do whatever it takes to keep this gig or bend over backwards, but that's not always the healthiest.
Right.
So there were times I turned gigs down. I got opportunities to like travel internationally. And I'm like, well, right now this don't make sense for me and my health or my mental health, my whatever I have going on.
Yeah.
It would be cool. At the same time, I do have to choose sometimes to say no, which is hard, or
Yeah.
to not go with something. Because there were times when I was presented with opportunity that didn't fit within what I try to set standards for myself, even though I'm young in the industry. There are still gigs that I turn down because I'm like, I don't think this fits with what I have going on. I know they're gonna want me to look a certain way. My hair is really important to me. And so I'm like, I know they looking for this or they want me to sound like this, which is cool with its limits, but I'm like, I don't want to just fit into this stereotype of whatever they have. So as a woman, that can be tricky because I also don't, I'm not big on like dressing a certain way or looking a certain way all the time.
Yeah.
So I did have to choose a lot. So that's kind of what that's looked like for me, even as a baby in the industry,
Right.
making very intentional choices.
And that goes with my question, and you sort of started answering it before. It kind of goes with how do you authentically maintain your sense of self and the strength of your own voice in an industry that is really, some jobs are asking you to be somebody different, but let me get your voice but look different, look like
Right.
somebody else, but let me get your voice. But so how what does self-care look like? What does that look like? Even you're starting to talk about you're saying no to certain things that just don't line up with your values. What is that? What does that look like?
Ooh, it can be challenging at times because there it's a toss up because in order to get ahead, there you know you got to stay consistent. Also, for me, I don't want to be just doing any and everything just because it's there. So I had to that, and that's what kind of informed my choices. Um, I wanted to put myself out there in a certain light, and I figured that if I said yes to everything that wasn't even good for me, um I wouldn't be able to do that effectively.
Mm,
So yeah, it's been challenging because there was times when the money was looking, it was cute in the moment, you know.
right.
uh excuse me, but at the same time I had to choose like,
Yeah.
how do I have these values and I want to be presented this way. So I have to choose, do this little check right here, or in the long run, you know, being someone who is valued as an artist or valued as a singer in any gig. So
Right. 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 That's where that word authentically maintain, because there is this maintenance that is required of your
mhm.
voice. Maintaining your own voice requires all of those things.
Yeah.
All of those things. Sometimes you go, oops, I got to get back on. Nope, let me align
Right.
myself. My voice is getting silenced. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Get back on it. That's good though. So how has your faith informed this journey of your purpose, your calling, and even and your mothering in motherhood?
Yeah, my faith is extremely important to me. I grew up also as musical as my family is. They are equally as involved in church, and so uh, I grew up. A lot of people say I was born on the pew, so I basically was born on the pew. And so, outside of just growing up in church, I definitely developed a relationship with God for myself, and experienced him in a very real way to me. So it definitely informed my worldview and how I interacted with others. And with that in mind, I wanted to make sure that I live authentically, in a way that does honor God and shows love to other people in the way that He would want me to. Um, and so it's definitely informed my purpose because I know that there's something bigger than me, and
Mm,
so I want to live that out. not necessarily bashing people with it, but just being, I found that when I'm just me and showing love and living the way God wants me to, people ask me questions. And so, I don't gotta be like, well, you and this, that, and the other.
Right.
They come to me and I'm like, well, this is what it is. This is why I'm the way I am.
Right.
And even in the industry. And so yeah, so it's informed my purpose too, because I'm just looking broad. I'm looking wider than just in front of me. And my motherhood, I know that God has a purpose as well for my child. And I'm a big part of helping her, develop as an individual. So I'm in constant prayer for what it looks like to be a mom to my child, because God knows my child. He the only other person that know her better than I do right now. So I'm like, Lord, help me guide this child and help me to love her well. And yeah, so that's how my relationship, my faith informs my purpose and how I raise my child.
Great, great. What is the greatest lesson you are learning in this season?
Woo. I would say the greatest lesson I'm learning in this season in particular is to plan with the open hand. So I'm a big planner, not a huge planner, but it helps my sanity to plan like months in advance. I done thought it through 4 times over.
Right.
But in this season, like, everybody's plans is being wiped out. So it's a lot of people just say, don't plan, but also don't plan. It's a lot of times it's 2 different views. Right. But I think you can still plan, but keep an open hand, knowing that things can change and will change. So that's also how I operate day to day with motherhood. Like, there are days when things are great.
Right.
I rejoice in those moments. But then the next day, a few hours later, it can be very sad. So yeah, I've just learned to plan things, because it's helpful to have plans. At the same time, don't hold on to them so tightly, because you never know what's gonna happen, good or bad. I was not at all expecting to work with Mr. Kanye West. But I did plan to do more music last year. That was one of my goals. And so I planned with an open hand, and that's what I got. Nice. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson I'm learning.
What, in talking to a mother at your same stage or who's pregnant right now, how would you encourage them in their journey?
I would encourage them to someone who's in my same stage, or I'll do pregnant.
Either, or who's
pregnant. Somebody who's pregnant right now.
5 months pregnant.
If they're pregnant, I would tell them to receive the help that you're getting.
Yes.
It don't mean, it's not a knock on you. You are very strong and capable, and you have proven that by carrying a whole human.
Whole child.
It's a whole child in there.
Right.
At the same time, you don't have to do it all. And so receive the help as it comes. And someone who's in my same quarantine, new baby stage, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. It's going to be okay. But yeah, that's all I got for them.
That's all I got. All right, we're down to our final 2 questions. And these questions, I just want whatever comes right off the top of your head. A phrase, a word. So this first one is, if you met your child later in life, if you met your daughter, Layla, is it Layla? Layla.
Like Hathaway.
Layla, if you met Layla at your age, you met her later in life, what would you want her to know about you and your journey right now?
Ooh, I would want her to know that, okay. I guess I would want her to know that she inspired my journey. She's been a big inspiration on my journey. At the same time, I was still, I didn't lose myself, because I would want the same for her. I want her to pursue whatever her heart's desire is, while maintaining integrity and thinking about the people that love her, but not giving up on what her passion is for those people, if that makes
good.
sense. So,
Good. All right. And our final question I ask all of the interviewees, as I spent time watching and reading Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. I love it. If you haven't read it, go on and read it or watch the documentary. But they ended the documentary with asking everybody, who are you becoming? So I'll ask the same to you, Nicole. Who are you, Nicole Theresa? Who are you becoming?
I am becoming a woman who is learning to live her dreams while maintaining her values. My values of family, faith, and, self-love. I'm still able to pursue my dreams while maintaining those.
Beautiful. Everybody, please give it up. This is Nicole Theresa Shelton, the mother of a beautiful Layla, 3-month-old, beautiful little girl, and a woman who is becoming all that she desires and all that God has created her to be. Thank you so much for your time and telling your story on Momversations.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. Everybody, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We are interviewing moms every week and just really giving a platform for moms to tell their story and hear how are they becoming, how are they thriving in motherhood and in purpose. So I am honored for all the women who have told their story thus far and all the women who will tell their story. If you want to tell your story, find me and let me know. But just go on and subscribe below and follow Nicole Theresa. What's your Instagram so they can follow you?
Yes, my Instagram is Nicole, NICHOLE _ Theresa, THERESA _. It's very complicated. I'm sorry. Nicole Shelton was taken, so I have to come up with something else.
Understandable. That whole name game drives me crazy. So Nicole _ Theresa on Instagram. And how can they follow you? Are there any other social medias you follow, or mainly it's Instagram?
Mainly Instagram. I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I'll be on there.
On there.
Instagram, I'm gonna see you and I'm gonna respond.
Is there any other projects that you want to tell everybody about that you're working on, or your main project is momming at this moment?
Right, and in this quarantine season, momming is my whole life right now. Music, I'm gonna be working on music later this year. Sunday Service Choir has an album, Jesus is Born, came out on Christmas. You can listen to that. I'm on there. You're not gonna be able to like single me out, but I'm on there.
She on there, and it's a good album. It's great.
Thank you.
I love all those. Those are all the songs I grew up listening to and bopping to, as well as current songs. So
listen, a whole lot of work went into that album. We did that.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. So go on, everybody, pick up that album. Follow Nicole Theresa, not Nicole _ Theresa on Instagram, so you can find out her journey of motherhood with her little Layla, and then when she will record and put out her own project. So keep up with her. Yes. And thank you again, Nicole, for coming on, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Okay, see you.
Bye.